Okay, we're continuing with the book here, The Best of the West in Art, Music, Movies, and Books. This is part 53 from this book, the 53rd video about it, by me, Pete Rogers. We're doing the paintings of the 1800s, like part 6 on the paintings of 1800s. So this first painting is kind of funny because it's like my marriage to my ex-wife. So the wife is sitting there kind of annoyed and bored that the husband's reading all the time. And I think the reason this happens is because women, up until the 1960s when they had birth control pills, they used to have about 10 kids on average. So the woman will be busy. She's always pregnant or nursing, and it keeps her busy, okay? But if they don't have that many kids, they're often just bored, and then they start pushing the husband to take them somewhere, do something, and he just wants to sit around reading. So I thought this painting was kind of funny, The Persistent Reader. It's a very common problem in marriages for educated men. Okay. The woman's bored and she's nagging. This one's by Laura Teresa Alma Tadema. She's related to the great artist. Okay. And now here's another similar painting. This one's called At Breakfast. And even my mother, who was like the nicest woman in the world, she would get mad at my dad for reading all the time. And it was funny. She sometimes would hit the newspaper out of his hands in a funny way. We were all laughing. It was comedy entertainment. But here's the wife, and she's bored. Okay? Here's the guy. He's not bored. He's quite happy to read. Okay? He doesn't need another person to entertain him. He can entertain himself with a book. This one's called At Breakfast by William Paxton. Okay. Oh yeah, my wife used to tease me. She'd say, "Why are you reading so much? You are effing autistic. Why the F do you read so much?" And I would say, "I'm not autistic. I'm just smart. Smart people read a lot. What do you want me to do? Go to the racetrack, get drunk, and bet it all on the horses? You know, give me a break." Okay, so here's another painting. Like I said, it's a common theme. This one is called Married by Walter Sadler. You know, again, he's reading like a typical smart man, and she's looking at him. "I'm so bored. Maybe we could play, badminton or do something. How come you don't want to entertain me?" And he's thinking, "Why don't you read a book?" Anyways, these paintings totally capture the mood. Now here's one of my favorite painters from the 1800s. This is Arturo Ricci. And he's an Italian painter, and he's got all these great scenes of family life, family parties, and you can just see this is the 1800s. The people are happy, they're optimistic, they're enthusiastic, they have a joyful sense of life, and this is typical of the paintings of the 1800s. I can tell you, there's over 100 paintings like this, and they're so beautiful. And like I said, their sense of life, of aesthetic beauty, and of nobility is so much higher than ours, it's pathetic. Think about the recent Super Bowl. Who was that low-life guy? What did they call him? The Dirty Bunny or something at the Super Bowl just a month ago. Right now it's February 2026. It was a disgrace. It was third world savagery, grinding their hips on each other at the halftime in a show, which should be family entertainment. The Super Bowl should be something the whole family could watch. But the NFL is going to lose big time because nobody's going to allow their kids to watch that anymore. That was so stupid of the NFL. I get the sense they did that on purpose, that the people running it don't want people to watch the football. I mean, I know that's crazy, but it's true. Nobody would put that out in front of a bunch of families. They know the families are going to reject watching that in the future. Anyways, getting back to Arturo Ricci, it's magnificent, it's beautiful. And as Ayn Rand had said, the 1800s were light years ahead of the 1900s. And the 1900s were light years ahead of the 2000s in terms of cultural behavior. And that's all because we turned away from Christianity. So the modern West, as it turns away from Christianity, it becomes third world, savage, ignorant, and vulgar. And the only thing that will improve it is if it returns to Christian ethics. Okay? It's the Christians, they make all the beautiful art. And they have these standards of behavior. Okay? With atheism, you just get grinding hips like primates, okay? It's vulgar and disgraceful, okay? Football was still a good thing. When I was a kid, I would watch football and basketball on TV with my dad, and it was good. Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, all these great athletes, okay? Here's another painting. This one's by Cesare Detti, but you can see this style. This is the style of the realist, romantic realist painters of the 1800s. 1914 is still the 1800s. Up until after World War II. World War I was very disillusioning. And that was the end of all that, so to speak. But you just get this magnificent sense of the joy of life. like a Victor Hugo novel. Victor Hugo novel. It's beautiful. Okay, and here's another one, helping with glasses. And again, just a sense of fun. You know, they're all happy, they're all playing, they're all dressed in a beautiful manner. The house is beautiful. They have pictures on the wall of their ancestors, so the kids grow up knowing their ancestors. They've got paintings on the wall. They grow up knowing their cultural history and tradition. It's beautiful. Back in the 1800s, you know, everybody in school had to know Latin and Greek and know about the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, and you could bet they knew about the Italian Renaissance. That makes you a much more culturally sophisticated person to know the Bible, the Greeks, the Romans, and the Italian Renaissance. Everybody should be educated in those things. Those should be taught in all the public schools. Okay, we'll make this the last painting for today, but it's very beautiful. This is grandmother's birthday. So the families come in and all the grandchildren get a chance to see grandma, and the kids, you know, give grandma a kiss, and that's exactly how it should be. The extended generations all staying in touch with each other, helping each other out. All the kids and the cousins know each other, and they had big extended families. And again, look at the walls, beautiful paintings on the wall of themes from the classical times, ancient Greece and ancient Rome. And then there'll also be in one of the rooms, you can bet, pictures of their ancestors on the wall. That's exactly as it should be. So anyways, this is Arturo Ricci, just magnificent painting. I hope you found those interesting, enjoyable.